2019 was a big year for video game releases and announcements. With games like Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, and Borderlands 3 all out this year, there was a lot we knew we would probably enjoy. However, there were also a bunch of surprises that caught us off guard. So, we wanted to round up the biggest stories that we weren't expecting. Here are 13 of the biggest video game surprises of 2019. Apex Legends. Apex Legends surprised everyone when it dropped into the Battle Royale scene on February 4th, 2019. With no prior announcements or teasers and only a handful of leaks, Respawn released Apex to an overwhelmingly positive reaction and amassed 25 million players by the end of its first week. Considering it still routinely has approximately 8 to 10 million players a week, Apex Legends can be called a big success. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. While we certainly hoped for a better game than the disappointing and controversial Star Wars Battlefront 2, we weren't expecting anything as impressive as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We found that there were very few things more satisfying this year than using the Force to vanquish enemies and wield a lightsaber of any color you desired, except red, to bring justice to the Jedi Order. And that's why it made our shortlist for 2019's Game of the Year award. Final Fantasy VII Remake re-reveal. Ever since the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake back in 2015, fans have been anxiously waiting to see more, especially any news of a release date. Finally, at PlayStation's State of Play in May 2019, Sony and Square Enix re-revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake and showcased the updated trailer. A month later at E3 2019, even more light was shed via a long trailer, in-depth looks at gameplay, and confirmation that the remake would still be episodic. The launch date for the first episode is set for March 3rd, 2020, and fans seem to be equal parts curious and excited to see the return of the classic RPG.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
Destiny 2. Bungie goes indie. After 8 years of working together as publisher and developer, Activision transferred publishing rights for Destiny and Destiny 2 over to Bungie in January 2019. This gave Bungie full control of the franchise, which the community speculated would improve future content updates for Destiny 2. After reassurance that Destiny 2 would continue down its existing content roadmap, Bungie released a timeline and content structure of the planned updates to come later that year. Control. The studio that brought us Alan Wake and the Max Payne series, Remedy, released Control on August 27, 2019. This weird sci-fi action-adventure took us through other dimensions and universes, all while playing off a sense of existential dread. While this game doesn't have a storyline as straightforward as Alan Wake or Max Payne, Control delivers a different definition of a psychological adventure, all the while letting you run amok with some impressive otherworldly powers. It was also IGN's Game of the Year 2019. Banjo-Kazooie in Smash. During the Nintendo Direct E3 2019 showcase this year, Nintendo surprised everybody by unveiling Banjo and Kazooie as their next fighters to step into the ring of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Their appearance on a Nintendo platform was a surprise because Rare, which developed Banjo-Kazooie, had been acquired by Microsoft in 2002. And aside from a Rare replay collection that came out on the Xbox One back in August 2015, no one had seen anything of Banjo-Kazooie since. Google Stadia. At GDC 2019, Google announced Stadia, a cloud-based gaming platform with no physical console. With Stadia, Google promised that high-quality gaming would be accessible over an internet connection on various devices ranging from computers to TVs, and even phones and tablets, all in 60 FPS with HDR and 4K resolution. It sounded too good to be true, and right now it still has yet to prove itself. Between delayed pre-order access codes, some games streaming below the advertised 4K resolution, significant connectivity problems, missing features, and an absence of must-have exclusive games, it hasn't lived up to Google's hype. Yet. HalfLife Alex. No one was expecting any Half-Life news in 2019. After all, the last Half-Life game came out 12 years ago, and many had given up hope that the legendary first-person shooter would ever return. But on November 21st, along came Valve with a trailer reveal for Half-Life Alex. The even bigger twist is that this Half-Life 2 prequel would be in fact a full-length VR game for all PC-based VR headsets, and it's coming in March 2020. Ninja and Shroud moved to Mixer. On August 1st, the world's most popular Fortnite streamer Ninja, also known as Tyler Blevins, announced that he would leave Twitch for Microsoft's Mixer. This was a huge shift in live stream dynamics. Ninja had cultivated a tremendous following on Twitch, which had even landed him opportunities to broadcast live from the New York Times Square on New Year's Eve last year. Mixer acquiring Ninja was a significant move in attempts to compete directly with, or simply outright co-opt, Twitch's viewership. And it wasn't done yet. A few months later, on October 24th, 2019, retired professional CSGO player Shroud announced that he too would be moving to Mixer. According to a report from Business Insider, Shroud was the second biggest streamer on Twitch, meaning Microsoft has now nabbed Twitch's top 2. Keanu in Cyberpunk 2077. On stage at E3 2019, CD Projekt Red revealed a new Cyberpunk 2077 trailer that ended with a shocking surprise: Keanu Reeves. The trailer then cut off and the stage side door opened to reveal Keanu Reeves himself, stepping out to present himself to the unsuspecting crowd. Plus, he gave us this new lovely meme.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. A trailer for the second The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game was unexpectedly unveiled at the very end of this year's E3 2019 Nintendo Direct. While the actual reveal itself didn't feature a release date, the Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma suggested that the sequel could receive DLC like the original did. Fans eagerly welcomed the announcement and began breaking down theories on what the next game could bring to the Zelda universe. The Sony exec shakeup. In the aftermath of the exciting PS5 announcements, Sony Interactive Entertainment seemed to undergo a massive internal reorganization. On October 1st, it was announced that Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden was leaving Sony. Sony continued its leadership shakeup in November when Shuhei Yoshida announced that he would step down from his position as Worldwide Studios president. A move he stated was to allow him to focus more on indie ventures. Herman Hulst, Guerrilla Games co-founder and managing director, took his place immediately. Sony buys Insomniac. Along with the internal restructuring at Sony Interactive Entertainment, in August 2019, Sony announced that it had acquired Insomniac Games, the developers behind Marvel's Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank, making it a first-party PlayStation studio. While Insomniac didn't announce any new games with the acquisition, we eagerly await to see what happens next with this partnership.
So, should we kiss now?
Keeping all of these surprises from 2019 in mind, the new year seems bright with new opportunities and excitement. With 2020, we'll get the release of Doom Eternal, The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and more. These are just the things and games we know about. Imagine what else we might have to look forward to in the coming year, especially with fresh new generation consoles on the way. What video game releases are you excited for next year? What are you hoping will get announced in the near future? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, keep it here at IGN.